Australian Football League Grand Final, played at the Melbourne Cricket Ground on the 29th of September 2001 between Essendon and the Brisbane Lions. The teams: Essendon, backs, Hardwick, Fletcher, Solomon. Half-backs, M. Johnson, Wellman, Ramanauskas. Centres, Blumfield, Missiti, Carosella. Half-forwards, Hurd, Lucas, Mercury. Forwards, Barnard, Lloyd, Rioli. Followers, Alessio and J. Johnson. Heffernan. Interchange, Moorcroft, Jacobs, McVie and Barnes. Brisbane Lions, backs, Johnson, Michael, White. Half-backs, C. Scott, Lepich, Ashcroft. Centres, Ackermanis, Voss, B. Scott. Half-forwards, Notting, Brown, Lappin. Forwards, McRae, Lynch, Bradshaw. Followers, Keating and Black, Hart. Interchange, Copeland, McDonald, Power and Pike. Crowd 91,482. There were no changes to the selected sides. Umpires, James, McLaren and Ellis. Weather, very warm day, fine, 27 degrees. The Norm Smith medal for the best player in the grand final was won by Sean Hart, Brisbane Lions. The Brownlow medal 2001 was won by Ackermanis, Brisbane Lions.
On White's on Alessio.
We will continue to pick up the match-ups in this opening minute or two. They will change. Bounce again to take place. Keating versus Barnes. Barnes edged out of the contest. Keating slaps it to half forward. Hart overran it. Down there was getting a high one, Jason Johnson, and he receives the first free of the afternoon at half-back from umpire Scott McLaren.
Lepich is on Lloyd as Essendon work the ball to Barnes, loose in midfield. Rioli lays a shepherd. A casual Barnes kicks to Moorcroft, and he takes the mark, sprawling forward. As high as he went that night at Colonial Stadium, this was low. He's marked at 45 metres out. Already changes are being rung by the Brisbane bench. We'll get to Paul Callery in a moment. But Gary Moorcroft, the last man in for the Dons, might win someone money in a sweep by kicking the first goal of the grand final. 45 degrees, nearly 50 metres, mightn't carry the pack, lands in the square, rushed through by the Brisbane defence. The first score is a force behind. Paul Callery, good afternoon to you on the bench.
Thanks, Tim. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to yourself. It's just fantastic down here. 1 minute mark, Martin Pike comes off, Mel Michael back on. The black armbands are being worn in recognition, as you thought, for the services of Michael Long and also Dean Wallace.
Chris Johnson to kick out from fullback. 3 Johnsons playing this afternoon. Jason and Mark for Essendon, of course. And the last of the old Fitzroy boys, Chris Johnson, kicks out for the Lions and wide, and Lloyd might get there first. Does in front of Lepich. Kicks back inside, 50, just too wide for Moorcroft. And it'll be tossed in. Essendon forward pocket. In front of the place, known to all, especially Peter Booth as the old Bay 13.
Another key match-up at the other end of the ground. Dean Solomon, again given a tall key forward, is on Brown.
Ball back into play. Forward pocket for the Bombers. Keating beats Alessio, who was caught behind. Ball slapped down to Moorcroft. Handballed it in Mercedes' direction. Players diving in, being hit hard. Umpire Scott McLaren will come in and bounce just inside attacking 50 for the Bombers and tucked up in their forward pocket. We've played 2.5 minutes and Essendon, one behind, lead the Lions yet to score.
And Wellman runs forward for Essendon.
Sorry, and Dwayne, Mal Michael's obviously gone on to Big Alessio now.
From the ball up, ball loose, Voss has got it, he's tackled, he gets a hand pass cleverly to Chris Johnson, little left footer, cagey kick. He was on the boundary line, he had to tunnel it around the boundary. Brisbane player goes down, and there's a free kick to be taken by the Brownlow medalist, Ackermanis, who was on the deck in the early minutes. He kicks to Power, who marks in space on the wing, plays on, kicks around the half-forward flank southern side. Brown in there boxing for the Lions. Can't win it, mopped up by Jacobs. Hand pass to Carosella. Hand pass intercepted by Hart. Little left footer to Lynch. Paul Fletcher arrives. got a hand onto the ball, but ran straight into Lynch's
50.
head. And it's a free kick to Lynch.
And 50 it'll be.
I don't think it'll be 50, will it?
Oh, it's got to be. Hit him in the head. He ran into him front on.
But that was the only contact.
Yeah, he's not
That's what
giving
the
it to him.
No, that's what the free kick's for a high tackle.
He didn't mark the ball. If he'd have marked the ball and got hit high, then 50. But he didn't mark the ball.
No, he just ran straight into it. The ball hit the back of Fletcher.
There was only one infringement. That's the point, I think. And,
Yeah, good call.
And the man on the mark is 20 metres out. Lynch is almost directly in front.
It's on over here in the middle with Hurd and White, Johnson. They're all in.
Lynch kicks at goal. He hooks it a little. He's missed. A nervous kick, a tentative kick. One behind each 4 minutes in. What's happening at the other end of the ground?
Just a lot of pushing and shoving, and the umpires come over and broken it up.
Fletcher wastes no time, kicking into a spare. Lucas at half back. He got away, and he has a bounce. Runs the MCC members wing, has a second. Voss comes at him. Big, long left foot to the hole. Under it, Chris Johnson. Lepich over the top. Takes the mark. He played for 50. It wasn't there. Oh, that was a very tough 50 against Moorcroft.
Nervous umpiring decision.
Yes.
Early in the grand final.
Umpire Matthew James sucked in. And Lepich gets the resulting 50-metre penalty. Lloyd will be on the mark. Lepich to pump this ball towards attacking 50. Here's a long kick of the ball. Essendon flooding players back. He goes wide, does Lepich. Too wide initially for Copeland, but he gathers it. On attacking 50 now. Long drop punt towards the goal square. Fletcher up. Big fly. Lynch down. Keating there too. Gathers the ball. He's over it. He's caught. Still over it. Still caught. Umpire Martin Ellis will bounce. 5 minutes played. First term. Essendon one behind. Lions one behind.
It's an uncertain start here. Almost a slow start, as though the game hasn't begun in top gear. And the swirling wind adding to the uncertainty, the tentativeness of the early efforts. Close to Brisbane's goal, one behind a piece. Martin Ellis in his first ground final bounces beautifully. Keating tries to take it out of the air. The ball in dispute, close to the Lions' goal. Still in dispute, Pack over the ball, and umpire Ellis will come in and bounce it again. Just outside the goal rectangle, about 13 metres out. Brisbane attacking.
Team just a few midfield matchups. Jason Johnson on Black, Ramanauskas and Akamanis, and Voss and Heffernan.
Bounce to the footy. Another good one from umpire Ellis. Barnes and Keating. Keating the better of it. Fletcher's kick smothered. So was Powers. White gets it off to Black, who gets it off to Lappin, who kicks high. Lynch flies as though he's playing for Fitzroy again. It didn't go 10 metres. He was claiming a mark. He came to ground. He gets a free kick. It goes Brisbane's way, right in front of goal. Alistair Lynch holding his head as though he copped one high after he came down. And surely he won't miss this. The man on the mark is no more than 20 metres out. In fact, perhaps a little less.
It was a great mark, though, even though it didn't travel the distance.
It was almost the first real positive thing we've seen, where somebody really has launched themselves at the contest.
And we should hear the first positive roar as Lynch goes. That's the start. The Lions wanted. They kicked the first goal of the match. And it's Willing. It's Willing. Heat in the battle. Mark Johnson in there. Likes it like that. He'll be doing his provoking and stirring. And a little bit of nudging and boxing. 7 minutes in, Brisbane 1-1, Essendon 1 behind.
Yeah, I'm just interested because obviously Darryl White seems to be the loose man with Sean Wellman, and they're not too sure whether they're loose men on the back line each. White seems to go down and pick them up.
I think they're both almost taking like the defensive role early, aren't they? But then they've got to just obviously meet each other later on. It's typical of a final start, though, because there are players trying to just get the matchups right and just settle, and coaches in the box are really working on the whiteboard at the moment.
Bounce in the middle to restart play. Ball slapped out towards Akamanis. The Brownlow medalist gets it on the wing. Maybe received a free. Long bomb to full forward. Under it. Bradshaw! Too good for Jacobs. And this could be the perfect start. Shall I say Fitzroy? Oh, I'll just stick with the Brisbane Lions for now. Won't get too excited too early. Bradshaw, no angle, and from 20 metres out, this is his bread and butter. He kicks it from 30, and he has missed it.
It's 2 close misses.
And Jacobs lets him know about it 8.5 minutes in. The Lions should be 3 straight. They are 1-2-8. Essendon 1 behind.
Fletcher kicks to himself, then just jogs 3 or 4 metres and goes long to Wellman. Voss plays him close. Wellman brings it to the front, gets a free kick. Voss played him too close. Members side, Wellman chips to a player running down ground. Jacobs, forward to the wing now, stabs a pass out to Hurd. Bounced off his leg over the boundary line, but not adjudged out on the full. There'll be a throw in. Essendon's left half forward flank, still outside the 50. It's about 65 from goal. Bombers building the attack. Lions making the early play, 1-2 to 1 behind.
Alessio does some ruck work against Mel Michael. Always 55 metres from the Bombers' goal. Gathering Moorcroft, Rioli there, hip and shoulder with Darryl White. Ball out of play, and it'll be tossed in under the new scoreboard at the punt road end, 50 metres from Essendon's goal. 1 behind, plays 1-2-8. Brisbane lead, ball back into play. Alessio from behind Michael, slaps it down. Ball on the deck, stolen by Chris Johnson through traffic. Handballs it to Darryl White, bad to Chris Johnson. They're running with numbers. Chris Johnson handball bad. Wellman's cut it off. Brilliant tackle in the middle, too high according to the umpire. Brad Scott just had a tackle on the shoulders of Wellman, and it slipped up a little high. Wellman, long bomb to the goal square. Michael up high with a fist. Slaps it down, under it, waiting, can't get there, Heffernan. Voss has got it, shrugs the tackle, handballs to White, and the Brisbane Lions away from half-back.
Playing assertively, has a couple of bounces, sweeps the hand pass to Hart, who overlaps, gives them a 2-on-1. Forward to the wing, into an open forward line, and with the set, taking the mark, just 20 metres out, is Copeland. He's out on an angle, right forward pocket, difficult shot. But a chance for Brisbane again. Well, they've had 3 set shots at goal, only hit the target once. This will be a 4th. Essendon, I know I'm saying it early, but in danger of being swamped here. Copeland comes in. This for real momentum. Good straight approach. Kick not so good. Just misses on the near side. Brisbane 1-3, all from set shots. Essendon 1 behind, 11 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, look, and just Voss, the magnificent Voss down there, able to shrug the tackle, get the ball to come forward there. And young Copeland, who's been playing across the midfield, given the roll with Carosella, worked very hard to present himself, but unfortunately, you're right, the Brisbane Lions are letting themselves down with poor shots on goal.
Dustin Fletcher chips to Hardwick, short pass. Jacobs just got it before it hit turf. No umpire said play on. Gave it back to Hardwick. Handball back to Jacobs. He's at half back under pressure. Goes to the wing. Alessio, Michael. Alessio had Michael too high. And now Michael gets the free on the wing.
The other thing too is Heffernan is actually pulling Voss up to his back line, so Hefferman's going forward trying to take him out of the play.
Now Michael to head the Lions back inside 50. High ball. Brown is under it. Can't bring the mark down. Brought the ball down, but gave a free kick to Solomon, who was Brown's opponent at the...
Whoa, that's a trip.
Jimmy?
Gee, that was dangerous there, Solomon.
Solomon goes wide towards Moorcroft on the wing, and he gets there to take the mark. 11.5 minutes played. 50-metre penalty against Chris Johnson, and that might bring Moorcroft within range. It'll bring him about 50 out. We'll wait on this. Oh, he brings him 54 out, just beyond range.
Can be Chris Johnson's Achilles. He can be sucked in.
Short pass to Lloyd. Will he get there? He can't. It's cut off by Ashcroft. Close to the boundary. Not taken out. Leppish takes it out now. Forward pocket for Essendon. We've played 12 minutes opening term, and the Lions lead by 8 points. 1-3-9. Essendon 1 behind.
I think the umpires are doing a good job early. They're asserting control. Throw in coming up. 30 metres around. Essendon attacking. Alessio in ruck. Lucas climbs in, pinches it, snaps with the left foot, but it's out near the behind post. Wellman up front now, takes it over. There'll be a throw in Essendon's left forward pocket. It's almost as though the Bombers have come out, the game started, and they weren't quite ready for it. And they were the team that was meant to go in with the advantage. The field for the game. Michael and Alessio. Alessio out of the air as he did last week. Kick smothered. Leppish has got it. Copped a high tackle. Will take a free kick in the last line for the Lions. It's been willing early. There have been some high tackles. Leppich, the recipient here. And Essendon's goal front goes for Boss. In good posse, good mark. Used the body beautifully to protect himself. Heffernan arrived late. Boss's ball, half-back flank for Brisbane.
That was a courageous, brilliant mark. Kicks to Bradshaw on the move. Within Johnson. Bradshaw gets a free. Do you still think they're umpiring okay, Tim?
I think they're doing well.
Do you think that one was there?
I think it was there.
Bradshaw from the wing heads toward half forward. Up flies Brown. Hands to it. Couldn't mark it. Black there with Brown. White's not there to help them out. Hart is. Handballs to Lappin. There's a free kick. Play on. Brown with the advantage. Kicks to the goal square. And the mark by Lynch. He'll be on a tough angle though.
He should kick it.
Brisbane Lions getting the advantage. And the umpire then allowing them to move the ball quickly instead of bringing it back. And Lynch lines up at goal. He is tucked into the boundary. Scoreboard forward pocket, City end. He is standing on the boundary line. Dustin Fletcher stands 3 metres from the goal line. Lynch runs around, snaps a goal. Well, he's put his fist in the air. He likes it. It's a behind. Well,
Costly.
he tried to trick the goal umpire. Unfortunately for him, he only tricked me. 1-4, plays one behind, 14 minutes first term.
5 set shots. Will they rue this? Fletcher again plays on. Brisbane are inviting him to do that. No one standing close. He pumps it very long to the middle, but getting back Lappin dropped the mark. Masiti, first touch I think for Smoke and Joe. Swings it to half forward, out near the 50. Alessio brought it down, hoping for more crop. Swept away from him though, and Brisbane are in control. Leppich was the man who took the ball away, and Brisbane work it to the middle. It's coming back. The umpire called advantage and then saw that there wasn't any for Brisbane.
There was advantage there.
They stuffed it up.
I agree with that.
I mean, how many advantages you want to have when it gets in the goal square and you lose?
Gives them 2 goes, 2 bites at the cherry. Short kick Leppich to Black, who has it over on the southern wing for the Lions. 1-4 to 1 behind. All set shots for Brisbane, and they've missed 4 out of 5 with 15 minutes in.
Black heads wide towards half forward. Barnes cuts it off, bounced off his chest. Out of play as some ambush marketing occurs here. One of the major sponsors of the AFL have a rival sponsor having their flag flying above.
Pathetic, isn't it?
Of that company that's flying it above. Ball back into play. Ackermanis caught a little high. It's the handball to Chris Scott. High inside 50. Up they fly. Lukey Power brought it down. He's been paid the mark.
Terrific turn.
Luke Power will line up at goal, 45-degree angle, and from 40 metres out, Paul Callery.
Yes, it looks like Johnny Barnes is going to come off and Mark Mercury, I think, to go on.
So Luke Power, who was named on the bench but didn't start there, lines up, and this will be set shot number 6 for Brisbane, and they surely must start to make Essendon pay. From 40 metres out, drop part is a goal. This time it's a goal. And the Lions are roaring. 2-4-16. Essendon 1 behind.
Insipid at the ball up. McDonald gets the tap for Brisbane. And if anyone's going to take it away, it looks like the Lions. It's picked up by Copeland in the midst of it. The ball held to him. And there'll be a bounce virtually on the rim of the centre circle. We're 17 minutes in and the Bombers haven't fired a shot. Brisbane have had 6 set shots at goal for a 15-point lead at the bounce. Alessio down to Hurd, who gets a kick out of the middle, and there's a sigh of relief, and Lucas marks it just inside the 50.
When in trouble, put Hurd in the middle.
Yes, it's the critical one, isn't it? He's the barometer. When he goes into the centre, you know that they're worried. But guess what? When he goes in there, he makes something happen.
It was also Leslie, though, because he got a beautiful tap down to Hurd, and he has a lot, like even up forward there earlier in the game, he was causing a few problems to Mal Michael on boundary throw-ins and ball-ups.
Lucas kicked one from further out than this last week, a contentious one, it must be said. He lines it up with the man on the mark about 46 metres out, and he concentrates with all he knows. Comes in from on the 50. Distance is there. Bomber fans, a little lukewarm. He's done it. Crucial goal. Oh, they needed that. It's back to 9 points and the Bombers at last. A kick started into life. Brisbane 2-4-16, Essendon 1-1-7.
Yeah, magnificent kick by Scotty Lucas, but I think there's a recognition from the coach's box that all the planning, all the things we talked about didn't work. Let's just get back to what's our best setup. Let's get our best bloke. Let's get Alessio back in the ruck. Let's get Hurd back in there. Let's get some normality. Put Barnard down in the goal square because really our players, their minds aren't on the job. Let's get them into their area where they feel comfortable. And let's just see if we can get some more attack on the ball because that really has been lacking from a Bombers perspective.
Centre bounce, the Bombers on the ball goal-wise. Up flies McDonald against Alessio. Lappin gets it, gets hit hard, gets it to half-forward. Hart dropped it, picks it up again. Hamels it out towards Copeland. Wide ball from Copeland. Voss is running forward, pocket, gathers, rides a tackle, caught, slung. Ball out of play. It'll be tossed in about 40 metres from the Brisbane goal.
Did he get rid of that? In regulation manner after being caught?
Yes, it was a very good bit of play, yes.
He took him on, though.
There was a couple of big hits in the middle of the ground as well.
Throw in, a kick out from Brisbane's goal. Hampton and over the ball. Ackermanis arrives like a bull at a gate. But takes the ball back to the boundary. Paul Callery, the changes keep coming.
Yes, and we're nearly conned again because Mercury wasn't to come on. It looked like Barnes, but they out of Barnes to the bench came Mercury for Moorcroft.
Brisbane attacking again. It's inside their 50. Left half forward flank. Beautiful tap McDonald. Doesn't quite hit a target though. Alessio's got it. Scrambles a kick on the tackle. Lucas out positioned by Chris Scott. Chris Scott does well. Free kick. Scott's way. Between wing and half forward for the Lions. They're doing everything right in the early part. Short kick. Too short. McDonald can't pick it up. Arriving as Black. So is Lappin. Wellman in there. And Essendon win the tug of war. Lucas fell over as he was kicking the ball, and the ball fell loose on the ground. The Bomber defence arrives, and they force a ball up just outside Brisbane's 50. 20 and a half minutes gone. Brisbane 2-4-16, Essendon 1-1-7.
Lucas prominent early, which is a good sign for the Bombers. Chris Scott is on him. He's the essential Lucas muffler this afternoon. He's getting plenty of the ball. Bounce. 50 from Brisbane's goal. Alessio slaps it backwards. Lappin's got it. Hamels out. Hamel finds Voss. Kicks inside 50. Carosella waits under it and takes a good saving mark. Hamels off to Hardwick. Bombers coming to the fat side. Wide ball. Jacobs on the lead. Gets there. Good mark. Bradshaw was hard at him and Jacobs held it strongly. Kicks it wide to James Hurd. Slides and takes the mark as well. Inches from the turf. Darryl White holds him up. Kick around the body in Rioli's direction. He gathers one way, then the other. Silky skilled. Kick around the body good. Barnard's got it. 80 from goal. Chip kick inside 50. Lloyd under it. Doesn't take the mark. First to pounce on the crumb. Slips the ball towards goal. Aramanascus, one grab. Not the second. Forward pocket. Hart mops it up. Kicks the Lions out of defence. It might be temporary. Down there, Solomon, 70 metres from goal. Gathers for the Bombers. Thinks about a short pass. Heads inside 50. Lucas gathers on the half volley. Handball to Mercedes. It's hot. It's hard. Mercedes back to Ramanascus. High wobbly ball inside 50. Carosella. The ball was on a roundabout and Carosella came up with it.
Copeland should have been able to make a better contest out of that.
Lloyd had a chance. Ramanascus had a chance. Finally, Carosella has his chance. And he is a goal kicker. When he gets his opportunities, he normally nails them. He has no angle to contend with. This kick to bring the margin back to 3 points. And we've got 23 minutes on the clock. From 45 out, drop, punt, misses.
Shocking kick for him. I mean, he's such a wonderful finisher. He just finished up with a bent leg. It was really a funny little jab kick.
I reckon there's a fair window coming down the ground in Brisbane.
Yeah, but he never really kicked through the ball, did he?
No.
All the more reason to, you would think, in windy conditions. Johnson to put it back into play for Brisbane. Chris Johnson stabs his pass and finds Lappin. Mark still inside the defensive 50. Margin 8 points Brisbane's way. It kicks to Bradshaw out in front of Jacobs, who sags back, says play on if you like. We're zoning back.
Slow.
Takes his time, Bradshaw. Takes a lot of time. And Essendon have all bases covered. Kicking towards half forward now. Where Brown beats off Solomon, who just tried to box him out. Didn't go for the ball, and Brown marked it anyway. And he kicks in the Boss direction, over the top. Good spoil by Heffernan. Ball dangerously loose. Brad Scott snaps towards goal. Power! Touch ball! Touched off the boot. No mark paid. Pike! A left foot snap! Goal! No, he missed. Just a little too much hook.
He needed a steady.
It just come on for Mel Michael. 2-5-17 to 1-2-8 at the 24-minute mark.
Just thought he kicked it a bit hard there.
Fletcher long from fullback. Mercedes lurking under it. He gets there, takes the mark. The ball was just bobbling in the air, and he had to wait under it for a second longer than he thought. Gets called to play on as Voss comes at him. Kicks it wide. Too wide for Lloyd. Out of bounds on the full. Lloyd nearly crashes into the fence. Free kick Lions. They lead 17-8. Ball in the hands of Leppich. Socks half down, half up, depending on whether you're an optimist or a pessimist. Long kick to half forward. Bradshaw up. Round 2. No one can bring the mark down. Jason Johnson the crumb. Slips it to Solomon. Kick over the top to Mercedes. Smoking Joe getting a bit of it now. Handball to Ramanaskas. Handball to Jason Johnson. Has a bounce. Runs the wing. Drop punt. Long. Under it. Carousella. Can he get back? Ball bounces unkindly for him. Slap down. Carousella still got it. Handballs it out. Rioli. Forward pocket. Chip kick. Good. Jason Johnson gets there. Did it travel 10? It travelled 10.10. He was paid the mark, Jason Johnson. And Dean Rioli's ability not to panic there might get Essendon a goal. Uncle Morris won the Norm Smith medal back in '82. Jason Johnson takes a deep breath, as we all do here. Capacity crowd. Here's 35-40 out. Drop punt. That's the Essendon supporters roaring. 25 and a half minutes travelled. The margin is back to 3 points. 2-2-14 plays 2-5-17 on
Barron bounces the footy. Alessio went early. Neither ruckman touched it in the end. Fierce contest for the footy on the ground. And inevitably it grinds to a halt and there will be a bounce. I love Rioli's kick. He actually made Jason Johnson run towards goal and then dive as far as he could to mark it, which minimised the distance that he was going to have to kick.
Not sure what he would have been thinking about that.
I wouldn't put it past him. 26 and a half minutes gone. Essendon back in it. Brisbane by a couple of points. At the ball up. The Lions win it away. Black scrubs a left footer into half forward. Coming out Bradshaw. Well wrapped up by Jacobs. Mark Johnson arrives solidly. There'll be a ball up just inside Brisbane's 50 at centre half forward. 26 and 3/4 minutes in. The Lions are 2-5. The Bombers slow out of the blocks, just starting to gather some momentum. 2-2. 3 points is Brisbane's lead.
Not sure how long to quarter time, but we're now into the 28th minute of this opening term. Bounce. 50 from the Lions goal. Ball slapped down. Through traffic, Mercury kick half smothered. Jacobs goes off the ground. Ball ricochets to Black. High kick inside 50. Under it, Hardwick gets a hand on it. Knocks it down. Voss. Great tackle, Ramanaskas. A wrap around. Bear hug on the ex-Bear. And it'll be bounced about 45 metres out from the Brisbane Lions goal. 28 minutes on the clock. Opening term, 17 plays 14. The Brisbane Lions lead.
Hurd runs away from the contest out towards midfield. Brad Scott goes with him. Umpire Ellis to bounce the footy inside 50 for Brisbane. Alessio well placed here. Brings it to the back. Carousella can't take the ball with him. It's grabbed by Ashcroft. Hand pass. Little limp. Hart's got it though. Gives to Lampman on his left side. Pumps a hand pass forward. Puts Brown in space. Time to have a look. Have a go. And miss. Bad miss again. And another tremendous opportunity for Brisbane is frittered away. They're 2-6-18 to Essendon 2-2-14 beyond the 28-minute mark.
Fletcher to kick in from fullback. The Bombers know they are closer than they should be. They would be happy if the quarter-time siren sounded now to go in just 4 points down. Fletcher with another long drop punt launched down the middle. Under it, Ramanaskas slaps it to Carousella. Beautiful movement down to Lucas. Long kick under it. Line! What a movement from defence. look as it gets.
Unbelievable.
Because that was an intentional palm down, and it was just so...
Oh, that was a set play. You're right, Dwayne. That was just absolutely superb. Set up by the magnificent kick.
Yeah, the Fletcher kick. That was a good 65-metre kick.
How would you be if you were 5 points down with 3 seconds left on the clock and you think you could not win, but you do that?
And the setup on the forward line was perfect as well, because they didn't have the leading out full forward. They just sort of were all out of the goal square. Lloyd just took off to the right.
This kick can give Essendon the lead. Unbelievably, Matthew Lloyd lines up. No angle. He'll kick from 35 out. He's kicked 100 this year. Drop punt and make that 101. They have been behind from the outset, but the Bombers are in front with 45 seconds left on the clock. 29 and a half minutes, first quarter. Essendon 3-2-20, Lions 2-6.
Yeah, they will.
To re-establish their morale, and McDonald gets a clean tap. He gives Chris Scott a chance. Hurried kick, will lob it half forward. Mark Johnson back with the flight, couldn't take the mark. Hempern's kick gains about 8 metres. Black first there for Brisbane, lost it. Masiti hand pass to Jacobs, who he mown down. He gets his kick, but it's straight to Pike as he was pulled off the kick. Pike kicks long and lob it full forward. Fletcher and Lynch, Solomon with the flight off the pack. Boss, now Ackermanis, the Brownlow medalist, puts the Lions in front. What must be a breath before quarter time. Brisbane back in front, 3-6 to 3-2, and Essendon with a casualty out of all of that. Who is it who's down?
Damien Hardwick, Paul, and that tells the story of the first quarter. Brisbane's inaccuracy costing them a larger lead at the first change. 3-7-25 with that behind from the boot of Michael Voss. Plays 3-2-20. It's the Lions by 5 points.
Goal kickers for Brisbane were Power, Lynch and Ackermanis in the last minute of the quarter. And for Essendon, Lucas, Jason Johnson and Lloyd to put them in front, a lead they subsequently lost before the siren sounded. Lee Matthews made no quarter-time skirmish as there was in the second.
5 point lead to the Lions. Barnes is not in the ruck now for Essendon. It's Alessio in the middle and he's up against Keating. Full house here at the MCG. It's a glorious sight and we've had a great first term. Bounce in the middle. Up they go to start the second quarter. Alessio and Keating, the two number 27s fly. Neither get a decisive knockdown. Quick handball came out from Power. Couldn't get it to a teammate. Ackermanis slaps it away. Mercedes stole it for the Bombers. High kick. Rioli under it. Chris Johnson jumps to. Pike to Crum. It's a handball out. Straight to Wellman. He's caught. Once again through traffic. Chris Johnson. Handball out. Crowd calls ball. Play on, says the umpire. Copeland to Lappin. 55 out. Kick around the body. Ackerman drops it. Just inside 50. He spilt the chest mark. He would have held 99 times out of 100. And he slaps the turf in disgust.
Gee, it was bad luck because Lappin was sensational vision. He was streaming towards the outer side. He had to kick a goal on the run. He heard his teammates call, just looked out the side of his eye and bent the ball round. And unfortunately, got to tell you, if he had marked that ball like a master and not kicked the goal, it would have been just a real lifter.
Keating wins in ruck, knocks it goalward, gives Bradshaw a chance. He's tackle out in the pocket, gets it off to Hart, who can only twist over the scoreline for a throw-in. Some of the first quarter stats, the entries to the 50, 12-8, Brisbane's way. They won it out of the middle 5 times to 2. They're not going to get opportunities every quarter to dominate like that. They've got to make more of it. From the throw-in, Jacobs to Masiti. Out of trouble, gives to Jason Johnson. Mown down as he took too long. Off to Mercury now. There was Essendon free kick if they wanted. Mercury's kick well marked by Lucas. Just forward of the centre, who claims his ground as he believes that Chris Scott took him a couple of metres up ground. He overdid it a bit, and umpire Ellis tells him so. He gets a lead from Barnard, and he hits him with the pass. Barnard at the 50, right half forward flank, below the MCC members. As a bunch of Brisbane balloons blow out onto the ground. It's like the old days when there used to be streamers and balloons, and you wondered how the players kept their feet back in the 60s. And a trainer claims them. Will he want them tonight or not? Barnard with the man on the mark, 48 metres out. Long testing shot to reclaim the lead for the Bombers. He's gone left. Is it coming back? It doesn't have the carry. Alessio got a pair of hands on. Couldn't hold the mark. Ball in the goal square. McCurry, Hurd, Lloyd, left foot. Missed. Should have kicked it. He had a moment. He was on his preferred side. And I think he'd be disappointed. 3-3 to 3-7. Brisbane by 4 points.
My gut feeling is, Tim, that trainer will not want those Brisbane balloons tonight.
Not wearing silk, he's wearing red and black.
Yeah, he's an Essendon trainer. Johnson kicks out from fullback. Chris, of course, in Lappen's direction, close to the boundary line. Mercedes comes at him. Lappen around the body towards the wing, and Heppen and out-positions Boss and takes the mark on the wing. Takes some time. The leads come. Lucas is on the march. Ball heads wide. The Lloyd is up. Big fist down by Lepich. Rioli bounced off a teammate. Rioli like a bumper bar. Gives it out towards Jason Johnson. High kick, goal square. White. Barnard, White. White wins out. Close to the boundary. Barnard actually wins out in the end because he dragged White across the boundary line and he keeps the ball in the forward pocket for the Bombers. 3.5 minutes. Second term. 21 plays 25. 4-point lead to the Lions.
Essendon pressing at the Ponsford stand end. Alessio and Keating, the number 27s. Orioli had a moment of opportunity. He fumbled for once. Chris Johnson capitalises. Hands off to Boss. Kicks around the southern flank. Arriving hard as Brown. Can't mark. His opponent Solomon keeps his feet. Delivers for McCurry. Ashcroft just prizes it away. It's been paid.
What's the difference between that one and Brown's?
That was very
A mark or a free kick? It's a free kick to McCurry. For what? I'm not really sure. He chips inboard for Jacobs. Oh no, very ambitious. He couldn't mark. Caracella's got it though. On the 50. Swings to full forward Alessio. Can't mark. Second chance. Left foot kick. Up and down on the spot. How will it spill? To Wellman. Out in the pocket. Under pressure. Pike comes at him with vengeance or certain meaning on his mind, and it's socked away by Power. And out to the boundary for a throw in. Half forward flank for the Dons, below the members, outside their 50 now. Almost 5 minutes in. Brisbane 3-7, Essendon 3-3.
Ball back into play. 50 from the Bombers' goal. Alessio does well in the ruck. Knocks it away from Keating. Can't get a decisive possession down. Lappen had it but lost it. Smoking Joe Mercedes kicks inside 50. Lloyd might get a free here. He gets one. Lepich was all over him. I know that's not actually in the rule book, all over him. But he was almost in his back and around his neck and everywhere, and even in his underpants he was there. No free, Jim?
No way. No free.
Why not?
Well, because he attempted to punch around his body and to knock the ball away. I mean,
and Lloyd was trying to hold him out.
Yeah, it was just a wonderful contest.
Did he fall on him?
No, because he came in around the side. We're just having a look on the replay.
Blood rule here. Poor Calorie.
Yes, on Scotty Lucas above the right eye.
The interesting thing at the moment, though, is I reckon Essendon are stretching Brisbane in terms of 12s up forward. They got Lucas, Barnard, Lloyd, Hurd and Wellman. And they're just, you know, you got the two Scots playing on a Lucas and a Hurd, and I just reckon that's just causing them a few problems in the air down there.
Lloyd on the good side for a left footer. 45-degree angle, 45 metres out. It's a very tough kick still in this swirling breeze. And he's kicked them from here before. Runs in, drop putt. Starts it right, brings it back, threads the eye of the needle. Essendon back in front. 6 minutes, second term, Bombers by 2 points.
So far gives them the lead. They've had to work for it. They've had to work to be in touch. They can be well pleased 7 minutes into the second quarter. Umpire James bounces it high and true. Keating climbs on Alessio. Solomon has it for Essendon. Tries to break the tacklers. Was given some leeway. Socket by Voss. Up to full forward. Lynch has taken the mark. 35, perhaps 40 metres from goal. And in a flash, Brisbane with the opportunity to win back the lead in the game. Alistair Lynch. A little wasteful early. lining them up, has waited a long time for this day. Kicks from 45. High, long, left, behind. Another miss. 7 opportunities from set shots. Brisbane have 3-8-26. Essendon 4-3-27.
So they'll be kicking themselves.
Well, that's one thing that they might at least kick straight, Jim. Fletcher, short to Wellman. Chip kick Wellman over the top to Caracella. He clean bowls him, bounces off his leg. Caracella almost threw it back to Wellman. Wellman to Hardwick, caught. Good tackle, McRae. Both coughed up, almost holding the ball. Not sure whether he got a clean kick away or whether he just dropped it. The umpire will bounce it. Martin Ellis is closer than I.
When
Giving
is
the
it
benefit
though?
of the doubt.
When is it dropping the ball? If your foot doesn't hit the ball, is that dropping the ball?
If you don't dispose of it correctly,
Or you watch it in the replay.
if you have prior opportunity and you don't dispose of it correctly, then it's holding the ball. Did he dispose of it correctly
He
on the
was
replay?
very lucky, actually. The balls that come out hit just below his knee.
Bounce. 55 from the Lions goal. Keating knocks it down. Mercedes through traffic. Handball to Wellman. Chip kick Wellman over the top. Ramanaskas marks on the wing. This looks good for the Bombers. Heads wide. James Hird dives. Can't mark it. He just couldn't make the extra yard, James Hird, then. He's playing at 90 to 95% at most. And 9 minutes in, second term, he sees this one out of play. 70 metres from the Bombers goal.
The MCC members with a great view of the action as Alessio manoeuvres it to Mercedes, couldn't take it. Keating does well, knocks the ball to the middle. Hart with tremendous courage, lost his helmet, but James Hird matched him for courage and skill. Brad Scott steals it, gives to Chris Johnson, 2 bounces, Rioli mows him down, Johnson breaks the tackle, has a third, lines them up. It would have been as spectacular a goal as we've seen since Bill Manasseh, but it missed and scores a level at the 9.5-minute mark. Essendon 4-3, Brisbane 3-9.
Well, it might be the most spectacular grand final we've seen for a while, regardless, because scores are level. Fletcher into Mark Johnson. Chip kick Mark Johnson to Jason Johnson. He marks just backward of the wing. Handballs over the top back to Mark Johnson. Chip kick towards Wellman. They've worked it all the way to the wing now. Sean Wellman with possession of the ball. Takes some time. Lloyd provides the lead. Ball in his direction. He's up. Ashcroft. Good courage. Back. Knocked it down to Lepage. Handball wide to Keating. Chip kick to Voss. Here go the Lions. Voss has got it on the wing. Chips it to Hart. Still 80 metres from goal at least. And he's forced to backtrack even further as Hardwick holds Hart up. 10 minutes on the clock. Second term. Scores are level. 27 apiece. Here's the number 1 caller in the game, Tim Lane.
Oh, Sean Hart, just about number 1 for courage. Little left footer towards a lead from Brown, taken under the ball by Solomon, and the kick I think was too far for him anyway, and it slews away to the boundary for a throw in just outside Brisbane's 50. 10.5 second term. A thriller. Scores level. Brisbane have scored 12 times, Essendon just 7. Throw in, Keating and Alessio. Keating, clean right hand onto the ball, covered by Jason Johnson, and he'll get a free kick as the tackler took him high, fell into his back. Essendon's ball, half-back flank, outside the Richmond and Melbourne rooms, being used today by the visitors. Across ground goes Jason Johnson. Rioli has to run for it, gets it on the second bounce. He's in space. He gets a kick. Clever kick off the instep. Awkward half volley for Wellman, who dabbed it with his foot. Oh, Maradona couldn't have done better. To Ramanauskas into half forward. Lepage over Lloyd, brings it to ground. Lappin over the footy. Didn't make much of an attempt to get it out. Bing! Free kick to the Bombers. Lappin had to do something to indicate to the umpire that he was trying to get the ball out of there, and he didn't. Heffernan can have a shot with the man on the mark 40 metres out. 4 frees to nil, Essendon's way in this term. It was 7-4 the Lions' way in the first. So it's now 8-7 to the Dons. Heffernan to again give Essendon the lead. Kicks a little casually, hooks it, misses. And the swirling northerly wind is causing problems for both teams. Essendon 4-4-28, Brisbane 3-9-27, 12 minutes on the clock in the second term.
Just trying to pop it up and pop it through rather than driving the leg through the ball at the moment. And both teams could have more goals on the board. 28 plays 27. Essendon lead. Ball about to be brought back into play by Chris Scott. The line heads wide towards Pike, and he takes the mark in front of Wellman, who cribs a couple of metres. Martin Pike, the one premiership player in this lineup for the Lions, the one grand final player, heads wide to Voss. The Brownlow medalist doesn't keep it in, and he's not happy with himself. Of course, the two captains here this afternoon tied for the Brownlow back in 1996 and tossed the coin, looked each other in the eye before the start of this one. As they did on that night, they were interviewed by Bruce McAvaney, who's calling his last grand final today for at least 5 years anyway. Ball back into play on the wing. Alessio around the body with the Bombers leading by a point. Gets it to half forward. Ball slapped out of play, and it'll be tossed in. Grandstand footy around Australia. Hope you're enjoying grand final day with us. Wayne Russell, Tim Lane, Stan Owls and Jim Steins with you for the broadcast. Sun shining here, and we've got a game that has lived up to expectations so far.
Essendon by a point. Alessio and Keating again, and they share this, both getting a hand onto it, and they send it back to the boundary for another throw-in. Brisbane made the early pace, had the first couple of goals. Since then, Essendon have kicked 4-1. Not an insignificant stat. Now, the umpire's conferring here with the boundary umpire, and eventually the ball will be thrown back in. What was that all about?
Can you tell by silence? We don't know.
Maybe those in the Great Southern Stand do. Throw in, very high, not very long. Keating again knocks it back towards the boundary. Some aerial ping-pong. Hart's got it now, does well. Gets it to Copeland. Attacking hand pass to Ackermanis. Breaks down the southern side. Thrilling sight. Two bounces. Beers inboard. Now hand passes outwards to Lappin from the 50. Kicks to full forward. One pair of hands, Bradshaw. Couldn't hang on. Lynch edges out Fletcher. Fights on. Mark Johnson wins the fight. Does well. Little nudge kick to Fletcher. Great stoic defence by Essendon. Bouncing ball seized upon by Caracella. Runs down the members' side now from the wing. Hooks it into half forward. Lucas trapped it well. Hand pass not so hot. Jason Johnson a scoop. Penalised for throwing the ball. A free kick Brisbane's way. Good call by umpire Scott McLaren. Below the members, Sean Hart to take the free kick for the Lions.
The possibility of playing the advantage rule does give the umpires a chance to have a long look at some decisions. Hart heads to Brown, who dives. Did he mark that? No. Another good decision. Picks himself up, though, kicks to half forward after taking possession. Jacobs there, edges Bradshaw out of the contest. Pulled up by Hardwick, kicks it wide. Race on, Blumfield, Ashcroft, Blumfield. A good old one-on-one on the wing. They still go at it, side by side, slapping at Blumfield. Gets it to half forward, gets it across the boundary line, and gets the points. Ball out of play, 60 metres from the Bombers' goal, with both players running at it about 90 metres from the Bombers' goal. So it was worth a short kick. Ball back into play. Alessio and Keating. Ball knocked down. Black's got it. Tackled by Hurd. Handball from him goes towards Rioli. Handball over the top. Jason Johnson to Lloyd. Gathers to Lucas on the left foot. Around the body. Bombers out for their biggest lead of the game. 7 points, 16 minutes in. Second term.
Forays, they're running the ball in, but they're not getting any result whatsoever from that. And I notice now Voss is really going down deep. They're probably hoping that he can be the person who can really kick a goal for them down there.
Hurd in the blood bin. Barnes back. Alessio goes forward. Barnes in the middle. Keating beats him pointless. Power takes it. Gives to Brown. Has to go away from goal with a hand pass to Hart. Swings his left foot at a half forward. Hardwick is able to get a hand onto it. Bradshaw arrives. Fights for it on the deck now. Surrounded. Off to Black. Left foot. Centering kick. Gives Boss the chance, but it's too far for him. And Barnes works his way back. Takes the mark. Goes for one of those hair-raising, casual John Barnes runs that could land him in trouble. Eventually, after a couple of lazy bounces, gives it off. Out to the flank. Bombers are in trouble, though. They've turned it over. Copeland's got it. Dispossessed. dispossessed. Ball back in dispute. Essendon with numbers, but they muff it up again. And it's picked up and kicked by Lynch towards the oncoming Lappin. Left foot snap, Goldwood. Fletcher gets back and marks it between the posts. What a saviour he is. And he holds up the waters like King Canute again.
How many times has he done that in his career, Jack? I'll let you add it up. Short chip kick to Barnes. Gets it wide towards Jason Johnson. Long kick. Blumfield under it. Cut off by Chris Scott. Ball in dispute on the wing. Players dive in left, right and centre. And umpire Matthew James will sort it out with a bounce. Southern stand side. 34 plays, 27. Bombers lead. Game's lifted a notch, Jim.
It has, but the Bombers have lifted. I'm just a bit worried now about the Brisbane Lions. I just don't seem to be able to penetrate that forward line. They're getting in there and getting shots, but don't seem to have the confidence to actually kick through and get it through those posts.
Blood's flowing. Justin Blumfield from the southern side has to make the long trek across the ground.
Poor Calorie. Strange to see both Ackermanis and Hurd on the bench.
Yes, and Hurd's about to go back on. I have a feeling Ackermanis as well. But also Barnard is now coming off. There have been about 10 changes in this quarter for both teams.
And Brisbane changing their ruckman, Keating off. McDonald will have to scamper across the ground because the ruck contest couldn't be further away. We're 19 minutes into the second term, and Essendon, with 5 of the last 6 goals, have claimed a 7-point lead. Ball on the wing. Umpire James sets the clocks running again and bounces it beautifully, high and perpendicular. McDonald gets a finger onto the footy, doesn't find a target. Ball again disputed, and Sean Hart wins the hard ball again, swings it into half forward. Lynch on the end of it. Fletcher almost outmarked him. At the full, Wellman overran it. Gives Boss a hint of a chance. Centering left footer, not good. Still a chance. Lappin on the ground. Hand pass. Power. Left foot. Goes nowhere. Hart hemmed in. Nowhere to go. Pack. Ball up. Great defence, Essendon. They're holding Brisbane at bay. 20 minutes in. The Dons 5-4. The Lions 3-9. Essendon by 7 points.
Inspirational football being played at its best by the top 2 teams at the end of the home and away season. They both finished the year with the same amount of wins. Just percentage separated them, and it's just a few points in it now. From the ball up, ball slapped down to Hardwick, half-back flank, and the Hardwick kicks it towards the wing. Down there, Hurd. Brad Scott. Brad Scott wins out. Hurd fell over. Brad Scott. Long kick inside 50 to Brown. Brown's marked it. Well, he was on his own. He was a brown cow. Sitting in the forward pocket, grazing. And this is still a tough kick.
Absolutely, and particularly the way they've been kicking. He'd have a lot of dance going through his head.
Well, if the merger with Fitzroy has done anything for Brisbane, it's given them this rising star. Through the father-son rule, the boy from Warrnambool pulls the socks up. In the Bay 13 pocket, tucked up against the boundary. The Lions have not kicked a goal in this quarter, and it's 21 minutes old, and they need one. Punt rode in, the toughest pocket of all. Wrong side for a right footer, and he kicks it through for a goal. The kid can play. 5-4-34 Essendon. Lions 4-9-33 on grandstand footy. Jim Stein.
Look, he can play on
Essendon's way. Umpire Ellis bounces the ball. The bouncing has been a feature. McDonald wins cleanly. Down to Black. Runs into trouble. Hand pass should have been stolen by Ramanauskas. Didn't accept it cleanly. There's a pack, and there'll be another ball up. There'll be another change by the Dons as Heffernan heads quickly towards the line. Blumfield will come back. It's not for blood this time, I don't think. Meanwhile, Notting comes on for Brisbane. Bradshaw is benched. The ball is just Essendon's side of the centre circle. 23 minutes second term. Not a breath between the teams. Barnes wins in ruck. Down to Jason Johnson, who has Moorcroft running for him. Gives from 51. Lucas up in the goal square. Alessio, in fact, well covered by White. And off hands through for a behind. Essendon by 2 points. 5-5 to 4-9 at the 23-minute mark of the second term.
It'll be a 30-minute quarter. 23 on the clock now. So plenty of time left in the half. And Chris Johnson to bring the ball in for the Lions. Drop punt. Wide towards White. Good kick. White's got it and he can run. He chips the kick instead towards Notting. Fresh man on the wing. Has the legs to get there in front of Jacobs. Jacobs has been on from the outset. Notting has been on for about 30 seconds. Kicks back to White. Takes the mark. Centre of the ground. The Bombers lead by 2 points. Brisbane about to go forward. White. Long launch toward half forward. Lynch up. Brown up. Brown had hands on it. Couldn't mark it. Wellman the crummer. Kicks it wide towards half back. Ball trickles out of play. Southern stand side. We have a ball in. 24 on the clock now in what will be a 30-minute plus quarter. And it's Essendon 5-5-35. The Lions 4-9-33.
Throw in between wing and half forward for Brisbane. McDonald from behind Barnes this time. Ball falls at the feet of a heavy pack. Brad Scott smothered. Ackermanis levers a hand pass to Black, who sets up his left footer, giving Brown the run at it. Solomon in front did pretty well. Still a chance for Brisbane. McRae helps it to Voss in the forward pocket. Tries to bend it back. He doesn't. He miscued it. It's another behind. And yet again, Jack Cameron, how many times have the scores been level? 5-5-30. No, they're not. Don't worry. We'll get to you shortly. 5-5-35 to 4.
Should be 4-10. Should be a point the difference. Ball back in from Fletcher. A little sloppily. Mopped up in the end by Solomon. Kicks it wide to Jason Johnson. Bombers get away with it. Jason Johnson long. Lloyd's on the lead. Lepidjap points him. Takes the mark. Been a good battle. Lloyd's got 2. Lepage has got it at half-back. 25 minutes on the clock. Now the scoreboard updates. 35-34. Lepage with the ball.
Kicks low and not quite full distance around the southern wing and doesn't do terribly well because it's been marked for Essendon by Jacobs. Just behind the centre line. Essendon to build the attack. 25 and a half on the clock. He kicks back whence it came, hoping for Alessio with a run at it. He can't mark. Blumfield dangerous. Hand pass to McVeigh. Left footer trying to centre it. Moorcroft out of position. Carosella runs onto it and runs right into an open goal. And the Dons lead by 7 points again. 6-5-41 to Brisbane 4-10-34. 26 minutes into the second term.
Fantastic points, and they get the takeaway. Jason Johnson from the middle, a rolling ball inside 50. Lepage cuts it off. Hamble a little sloppy. Moorcroft plays for the free. The Brisbane Lion player had his arm outstretched trying to grab the ball. Moorcroft ran into his arm and took a dive. And he gets the free for a trip.
It's soft.
Well, yeah, it was 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Under the letter of the law, it was payable.
I'm sure the Bombers will take either the 6 or the half dozen from this kick.
Moorcroft lines up. 50 metres out. 7-point lead. No angle to contend with. Runs in. Drop punt is a spear. People who've jumped off Essendon's bandwagon in the last few weeks just may have forgotten how good this lineup is. 47 plays 34
with the champions in the middle stages of the fight, starting to land some telling blows. The brash young challenger realising that this is the World Heavyweight Championship. At the ball up, no immediate takeaway. Still no takeaway. Still, now it comes clear of the pack. Pike lays a good shepherd for Brad Scott, but he's mown down in an equally strong tackle. Hurd swoops, gives to Mercury, whose kick is dangerous for Ramanauskas. He does exceptionally well. Helps it to Blumfield. Now to Mercury, who goes to Lloyd. He's marked it. There was a free kick, but advantage called. Lucas it is. Lucas has marked it 45 metres out. Straight in front. Great build-up by Essendon. They really had to fight for that footy in midfield. But fight they did, win it they did, and it was a beautifully executed setup in the end. Lucas, very easily mistakable for Lloyd, given that he's wearing plaster around his head and Lloyd's not. Comes in from on the 50. Goal umpire moves right. It's a miss. And it'll miss the edited highlights package. Essendon 7-6-48. Brisbane 4-10-34. 29 and a half minutes in.
It's given him a few problems, Lucas. And I'm not sure why they haven't got Michael on him. Because obviously, Scott's come off.
By Chris Johnson. The Lions would be happy if the siren sounded for half-time now. Heads in White's direction. Mercury, big leap. Couldn't bring the ball down. Lloyd's over the ball. Knocks it out to Lucas. Little knock to Moorcroft. Caught. Handball comes out, but it's in Chris Johnson's direction. Great tackle, Rioli. And they are going hard, the Bombers. They are telling the Lions, you can take it away from us if you want to try. But we're not going to be making it that easy. 50 metres from Essendon's goal. 30 minutes on the clock. Second term. McDonald in the ruck. Knocks it down to Pike. He's caught. Another good tackle. This time Mercury. And the umpire, that being Scott McLaren, will bounce 60 metres from Essendon's goal. Bombers kicking to the city end in this second term, which is about to hit its 32nd minute. And they lead 48-34 by 14 points.
70 metres from the Bombers' goal, climbing high. Ramanauskas knocks it towards the 50. Ackermanis gets back. Rioli tackling like a terrier, a tiger, a caged lion. Call him what you like. They are playing some inspired footy now. They've got the snip. They're trying to land a couple more blows before the bell goes. McDonald gets the tap down to White. Mown down. Can't get it off. Through it. Free kick to Essendon. Moorcroft, the cheeky one. The one who gets up their noses, in their faces, takes the free kick. Coming down, Lucas finding some space on the boundary line. Takes a mark. 60 metres out. Too far even for him. 31 and a half minutes on the clock. The Bombers by 14. And hoping to extend it to 20 by half-time. Scott Lucas. Oh, he's a long way out. He's giving it the lot. It is a long, long, long kick.
Seconds on the clock to half-time, and the Brisbane Lions get a steadier. 5-10-40. Plays 8-6-54. The margin reduced back to 14 points.
The interesting thing there is, there's less pressure. Opportunity to go ahead in the game, and Brisbane have missed all those opportunities, and now they find themselves in a little bit of trouble. But the area where I just reckon they're losing out is they're just very slow to get the handballs out, the little 50-50s, the fumbling a little bit and keeping the contest, and that's where Essendon have been a lot more dominant in the last 15 minutes.
Very important goal for them. Keeps them in touch, just 14 points. And reverses the slide at the bounce with a bit over half a minute left. Voss wins the footy, gave to Hart. Fumble his hand pass, gets it back to Chris Scott, to Voss, out of the middle, scrubs his kick, as Hurd met him right on the kick. Carousella's got it at half-back, bangs it back to the middle, marked over by Power for Brisbane. Quick kick, wide, Copeland, Rioli comes over him, at the spill Brown, out near the boundary, 80 from goal. Rioli hems him in, Brown leans back, kicks long, lands 40 metres out, all Essendon.
They've flooded back the Bombers now. They've flooded back. They just want to hold, try and go with that lead.
Jacobs the mark. The only contest came from a couple of teammates who were protecting him. It's half-time in the grand final. And the reigning champions are still in front, still on top. They lead by 14 points. 8-6-54. To Brisbane 5-10-40. Alessio and Keating, they climb into each other. Alessio gets a hand onto the footy and Jason Johnson wins the spoils. Goes wide, almost a mark to the man in front, Barnard. Rioli swoops, takes it away from goal. Hand pass to Carousella, back near the wing. Threads his way clear, kicks to Lucas. Taken out of it by Lepage. Moorcroft dives in, almost pinched the footy. Chris Johnson knocks it away from goal for Brisbane. Voss arrives, meets Lucas. Hurd's down. Hurd's hurt, picking himself up very slowly. Ball cleared by Brisbane. Out over the centre. Hardwick for Essendon. Kicks it back forward to the centre line. Free kick to Essendon. Ashcroft took the mark. Dean Rioli comes out of it all with a free. Now, where's James Hird?
He's up.
Rioli forward to the centre line to put Essendon into attack.
Spearing ball on the lead, Lloyd. Good punch away. Michael now on Lloyd. Ball knocked down. Solomon's got it. Handball to Lloyd, who is quick up. Kicks around the body. It's across the face. Dumped out of play by Chris Johnson.
Wow, that's a bad sign, I might tell you, because he could have marked that Johnson.
And he should have known where his opponent was.
Yeah, he panicked and just punched the ball, hoping to punch it through, and it's gone out of bounds. It's still in the danger area.
The 227s, Alessio and Keating. Keating slaps it back of the pack. Ramanaskas there to pounce. Black's got him. Ramanaskas to Jason Johnson. Chip kick. Lepage now on Lucas. Thumps it down. Lepper gathers it again. Kicks it to the wing. Down there trying to grab it. Here's Jacobs. With him Chris Scott. Wellman makes it 2-on-3. White overruns it. Chris Scott overruns it. Wellman to Jacobs. Slaps it to the boundary line. And it'll be tossed in. Southern stand wing. 2 minutes played. Third term. 54-40. Essendon lead.
Early scoring here, critical. Brisbane can really have a sniff if it kicks the early goal or two. Essendon could break away. Ball spills off the ruckman back to the boundary, and there'll be a throw-in. We're a big...
Tim, just with some of the moves, Lepage actually coming out to the half back line is a good move, and with Michael going to full forward on Lloyd, or full back on Lloyd.
The ruckman shoulder to shoulder, share it again. Essendon take it away. Wellman hand pass to the breakaway. Jason Johnson swings it down the southern side. Lloyd in front. Michael does well, prizes it away to the boundary. Another throw in right forward pocket for the Dons, who are pressing early in this third quarter, looking for the goal to again open up a serious break in the grand final. 10 metres around from the right behind post. Lucas climbs in, snatches it out of the air. He's tackled. They saw him coming. Can't get boot to ball. Brisbane have numbers around the footy. Hird dives in. Still fighting for it. Slaps it back into play. Brad Scott, in his anxiety, misses the footy as he tried to pick it up. Packed ball up. Still in Essendon's forward pocket. 3 minutes gone. No change. Essendon 54. Brisbane 40.
Umpire Martin Ellis has it, Stan.
I was just going to say, it looks like Lappin's come back to the half-back line because he's on Barnard.
Umpire Martin Ellis, forward pocket for Essendon. Bay 13 pocket. Alessio keeps it in play, slaps it down. Lappin's got it, they've got him. And we'll have another bounce. Still in Essendon's forward pocket. Any other changes, Jim?
I can see it.
I think the significant one is that Bradshaw's off and that Chris Scott's gone forward to try and give them some target.
Bounce. Spin in the forward pocket for the Bombers for a few minutes. Keating slaps it towards the boundary. Cut off by Lucas. Kicks it with the outside of the right foot. Left foot. Outside of the left.
On the right side.
And it's out of bounds on the full.
A lot of left-footers don't have a right foot, do they? And he clearly is one of them. Free kick to Keating. Will he have a kick? Will he give it to the policeman sitting on the stool right next to him and say, you have a go? No, he kicks it. Round half-back, very high ball. Out near the boundary, it lobs. No one can mark it. Masiti tries to keep it in play. He can't. And there'll be a throw-in outside the 50. Half-forward flank for the Dons, doing all the attacking here. The arm wrestle on early in the third quarter. And Essendon gaining centimetres, but thus far there's no drag down. At the throw-in, Lloyd climbs in third in line, but brings it straight to Lappin. His kick smothered. Hird dives in after the footy and prizes it out. Gives a chance to Ramanauskas. Gives to Lucas. 45 outstanding start offline. So the first result is a minor one. Essendon 8-7-55. Brisbane 5-10-40. 5 minutes have gone. 5 minutes of Essendon pushing forward. But that was the first score.
Chris Johnson to bring the ball back in for the Lions. It took 20-odd minutes to score their first goal of the second term. Lions through Chris Johnson long from full-back to Notting. Good mark. Had front position against Masiti. Took it strongly in the hands. Chips it to Hart. He's been getting a bit of it. He's got it now after the bounce. Oh, and he outreads Hardwick, but falls over. Hardwick's got him. Just gets the kick away, but it's out of bounds on the full. That was brilliant from Hardwick. Hart had him beat hands down, just couldn't take off. And Jason Johnson, the 3, the 2 for out of bounds on the full. No, Hardwick will take it. He will get the reward from umpire Matthew James, who said, you were closest, you take it. 55 plays 40, Essendon lead.
Brisbane flood back. Hardwick repeats the exercise and chips backwards to Carousella, who dabs it into the middle, and Moorcroft, and he gives to Fletcher. Everyone up the ground. They're almost all in one half of the ground. Fletcher kicks into centre half forward. Hurd on the lead, but Brown, flooding back, takes a courageous mark for Brisbane. He has a big body, but he might have copped it in the kidneys. He kicks to the wing as Brisbane rebound. Rioli gets a hand onto the footy and keeps it in Essendon's opportunity zone, but Chris Scott picks up, gets off a hand pass, and Ashcroft runs goalward, kicks long. Fletcher and Lynch. It beats the bump. It's gone through. A wobbling mongrel punt kick that I don't think was even intended to produce that result has found its way home for Brisbane, and the margin is back to 9 points.
Still lead. A ball back in the middle. Keating versus Alessio in the ruck. Bounce. Another good one. Up they fly. Alessio knocks it down. Keating gets a secondary slap. Ball in dispute. Diving through. Keating can't knock it out. Solomon steals it. Handball nearly stolen by Barnard. Taps it through Rioli's legs. White's got it. One way then the other. Through traffic. Has a bounce. Chips a kick towards half forward. Clean bowls a couple. Free kick. It's against Solomon. And it goes to Notting. Just outside attacking 50. Was it there?
Oh, look, it was. It's one of those unfortunate ones. It was a mongrel kick. Notting has gone to ground, and unfortunately for Solomon, Solomon's coming in, and he's fallen, and in doing so, just accidentally has made contact with his head. But as I said, because it was above the neck, it must be given as a free.
Well, don't discount his chances of kicking this goal. From outside 50, he's got a youngish leg. He's got the sock down, but he can load up. No angle. And in he runs from 55. Drop punt. It hasn't got the carry, nor the accuracy. Up they fly. Big leap as Lynch goes up. Ball knocked down. Chris Scott. So too Solomon. Both went hard. Powell went harder. Over to Ashcroft. Crutch. Handball comes out to Barnard. Caught. Gets a kick away towards the wing. Here go the Bombers if Lucas can get it. Ball close to the boundary. Lepage takes it out. They've got a spring in their step, the Lions, at the moment, even though they trail by 9 points. 9 minutes in, third term, 46, plays 55.
Dean Solomon running very hard. It was Chris Scott a moment ago. It's sometimes better to go for the ball and stop acting tough. Ramanauskas gets the knock for Essendon. Gives Barnard a chance, but he overruns it. Lappin's got it. Well tackled. Stolen. Heffernan. Quick kick forward for Essendon. Jason Johnson outside 50. 55 from home. Southern half forward flank. Kicks quickly. Lobs it. One-on-one in the square. Alessio. Big height advantage. Notting did well. Alessio standing head and shoulders above him. Notting had to punch for all he was worth, and he knocked it through for a behind. The Dons lead by 10 points, 8-8-56 to 6-10-46.
That was a very good spoil. Odds were in Alessio's favour. Now the huddle being played here by the Lions. Chris Scott to bring it in. Plays on. Player down in the huddle. Umpire says carry on, boys. Lappin gets the kick in. Spearing ball to half forward. Black can't half volley it. Hardwick there. Slaps it out. Looking for and finding Solomon. Shrubs an attempted tackle. Kicks a little wobbly. It does find Moorcroft. One way then the other. Handball to Carousella. 55 out. Handball to Barnard. 50 out. Drop punt. Long. Across the face. Out of bounds. It'll be tossed in. Essendon forward pocket, or was it out on the full?
Yep.
Just outside the line, free kick to the Lions, and they are away. Hart's free at half back.
And he runs away, bouncing the ball. He's had one. He's almost reached the southern wing. He probes it towards half forward. Mark Johnson flies when he might have waited down. Wellman's got it, though. Gives to Johnson. Gives to Alessio. He gives to Masiti. He gives to Hardwick. They're getting themselves into a pocket. Hardwick good enough, cool enough to get out of it and kick to Barnard on the centre line. Little dab pass is good. Sets up Jason Johnson. Left foot kick. Can someone run onto this? Heffernan did, but he overran it. And Chris Johnson's got it. And Brisbane rebound, a hand pass to Voss, a chip kick to Leppich. Marks between half-back and centre. Runs on now, reaches the middle, kicks long. Lynch on a wide lead, takes the mark. Just outside 50, southern flank. Kicks quickly, kicks long, lobs it in the very teeth. Just misses on the near side. And the margin is 9 points. Essendon 8-8-56. Brisbane 6-11-47. 11 and a half minutes, third term. Just one goal kicked. This is tight, tense, grand final stuff.
Fletcher kicks to himself, then he heads wide. He's looking for Lucas. Leppich is with him, so too Notting. Lucas gets there, can't mark. Ball knocked down. Jason Johnson, the crumb, heads for the sanctuary of the boundary line. And it rolls out of play in front of the MCC members. Paul Callery, move on the bench.
Yes, Blumfield on for Johnson, Mark Johnson, and also another one, Copeland coming on for Notting.
Okay. Barnes warming up as well. Ball back into play. Alessio wins the knockdown. Close to the boundary. Voss dives in. Power stole it from him. Chips it to full forward. Up they fly. Great mark in defence. Jacobs. 47-56. It's the Bombers that lead. Jacobs dangerous to Wellman. Chips it to Lucas. Stands under it and he marks it.
Great coolness in defence by Essendon. Now Lucas has a call from Barnard, who they're using a bit here to find some space. He's got it at half-back. Quickly onto his foot to Mark Johnson, whose kick is a mongrel out wide. Hurd chasing. Don't think he'll get there in time. Brad Scott leans into him just to let him know that even if it's going out of bounds, there might be a bruise in it. There'll be a throw in. 4 to the wing for the Dons. Still goalless in 12 and a half minutes here. Someone trickling blood. Paul Callery.
Ollie Lucas coming off for blood rule.
And
also Moorcroft coming off.
Saw it coming, has it covered. Pike bearing down. Hand pass to Barnard. Well snared. Runs into trouble. Gives to Mercury. Beats one. Gives to Mark Johnson. Gives to Barnard. Back to Mark Johnson. Brilliant stuff by the Dons. Kick to the 50. Lloyd swapped at the ball. Heart of Brisbane. Wrapped up by Blumfield. Taken over the line. Brisbane player down. Copeland in trouble. There'll be a throw in. In his immediate vicinity, and the umpire will have to hold up play. Looks like a shoulder, Paul.
Yeah. Seems to be holding his left high on the left shoulder.
Obviously,
it's a result of a knee from his teammate, Mel Michaels' knee actually hit him full force in a marking contest.
And it's out of the socket, is it, Paul?
Hard to see. That? He's certainly holding arm, looking through the binoculars. Can't honestly tell at this stage, yeah.
He doesn't look in as much pain as those who get it knocked out of the socket often do. Free kick picked out to Alessio. There has. And why is it going to be tucked up against the boundary? No one knows. Alessio is 55 out. Heads for the top of the goal square. Up they fly. Michael's fist wins out. Hart, a secondary punch. Down towards White. Trainer gets in the way. White handballs backwards to Keating. Handball back to White. Tucked up against the boundary. Handball over the top to Chris Scott. Caught. Gets caught by Blumfield. Gets the handball to Hart. Looping handball to Voss. He's got it at half-back now. Handball's out fortuitously. Finds Notting. Handball back to White. Plenty of possessions. They get away with it. White to Black on the wing. Black to Notting. This is brilliant. Notting through traffic. Long wobbly drop punt. Brown. Lynch. Clean bowls them. Brown's got it. Caught. Brilliant tackle. Both balls to power. Goal. Power play. That was the power play of the day. And Luke finished it off. And here come the Lions. 56 plays 53. Bombers by 3 points.
There must have been about 45 possessions there in a row.
Quick
just
gives, weren't they?
One after the other, running on, running the lines. That was just on.
Alessio the tap, no takeaway. There'll be a bounce. Jack, I wonder if you can give us the entries to the 50 in this third quarter. 16 minutes on the clock. Essendon have kicked 2 behinds. Brisbane have kicked 2-1. It's 4 each. But I reckon Essendon have spent much more time inside their 50. I'd say that stat's a little deceptive. At the ball up, second time around, now a big pack. Circling umpire Martin Ellis. 16 and a half on the clock. 3 points the difference in the grand final. Keating knocks it Brisbane's way. Hungry pack after the footy. Mercury had it for a moment. Couldn't hold on to it. Brown brought down. Another bounce just outside the circle. And now it is really torrid. We're getting towards the sharp end of this grand final. They are slugging it out. Who will give ground? The Bombers at one stage out to 20 points late in the second quarter. Alessio gets the break on Keating here. Can't find anybody though. Lapping over the ball, tackled. Another pack, another ball up. 17 minutes. Essendon by 3 points.
They've got her back on the ball as well. But what's interesting at the moment is Brisbane just getting a lot more run from the half-back line.
Barely a spare seat in the house. Just a sea of faces here at the MCG on this glorious September Saturday afternoon, and not one backside has left a seat. Ball in dispute in the middle. Wellman steals it, kicks to half forward. Lloyd up. Lloyd marks. Drum position. Hands outstretched in front of the eyes, in front of Mal Michael, and he takes the mark. 45 from goal, so he will kick from 50. No angle whatsoever. Matthew Lloyd. He's kicked 2 today, 102 for the season. Puts the ball on the turf. The ritual, if you're unaware, ball on turf, socks pulled up, jumper tucked in, pieces of grass plucked, grass tossed in air, wind blows grass, second piece of grass picked up, second piece of grass tossed, second piece of grass flutters away.
It's a very important kick.
It's a massive kick. Bombers by 3 points. Can he make it 9? Drop punt, not bad. Goal! But for another coat of paint on that post. Oh, 19 minutes in, third term. Bombers back out to a 9-point lead.
Wins well, Hart though defensive side. Kicks towards the members' wing for Brisbane. Pike, the veteran, leads the race. Mercury comes at him, not confident though on his footing. And Pike swings his kick high into half forward, lands on the 50. Fletcher spoils Lynch. McRae at the ball, well tackled by Heffernan. And the spillage is to the line. There'll be a throw in. Third off for Essendon, Paul Callum.
Yes, he's taken himself off and McVeigh on.
Interesting call. And Mercury, a moment ago, I thought just looked lacking in confidence on his ankle. Keating gets the tap. Chance for Boss over the footy. Can't break. Levers it out. Lappin, left foot towards goal. He's done it. It's back to 3 points. Good sign for Brisbane. Quick answer to Lloyd's goal at the other end. 9-8-62 to 8-11-59.
Keating slaps it down. Ball knocked to Lucas. Caught by Black. Half took them on. Dropped the ball. Barnard's got it now. Handball out, but it's straight to Nottingham, the Lions. Handball to Black. Falls over in the middle. Gets bumped. Gets a kick away to half forward. Under it, McRae. So to Lynch. Power knocks it down. Lappin lurking again. Ball comes out to Fletcher. Handball to Hardwick. Under pressure. Back pocket. Gets around bodies. Kicks toward the middle of the ground. Up they fly. Hart. Almost a good mark. Knocks it out to Chris Scott. Kicks smothered. Ball played Solomon. Brilliant stuff. Gave it over to Carousella. Chip kick wide. McHugh lurking. Chris Scott comes hard. The opposite number 2 wins out. Spearing ball to half forward. And McRae is on the end of it. The Brisbane Lions look solid. McRae. Long drop punt. Forward pocket. Brown. He has it. This kick could give the Brisbane Lions the lead. Important kick for the kids, Sam, but he had an important one earlier in the game,
yes,
didn't he?
It is. He really made Solomon pay. Solomon really pushed up forward, trying to create that loose, and the kid covers so much territory, but gee, it was a wonderful steal through the midfield, wasn't it, with Johnson, and that pass forward, just a fantastic bit of play. And Dean Solomon was not happy. I'm trying to find out who he meted out a little bit. Just somebody got his way and might have said something to him about it. He disposed of the Brisbane player rather crudely.
He walks in. This to give the Lions the lead in time on third term. Drop punt. Need I tell you? And they rise as one in Warrnambool. This young kid with a massive future has put the old Fitzroy, the team his father played for, back in front. 65 to 62. Paul Callery, what's his reward?
Places his left footer carefully in the Lloyd direction. Can't mark. Rioli overran the crumb. McCurry's got it. Gives to Masiti. Tired looking attempted kick. Smothered. Ashcroft clears for Brisbane. Out to the members' wing. Hardwick first there. Hand pass well smothered. Brisbane running above the ground. Ball contested close to the boundary. There'll be a bounce. Jason Ackermanis, who's on the bench, reaches into the field of play to give a teammate a pat on the back. Third back, McCurry, never really a factor in this game, is off. 24 minutes gone. Bombers badly need a goal. At least they've got to stem the flow. Off the pack, the ball spills out of bounds, and now there'll be a throw-in. 24 minutes. Brisbane 9-11-65, Essendon 9-8-62.
It'll be a 30-minute quarter again. Ball back into play. White knocked it, got it back again. Hefferson tackles him. Ball falls to Ramanauskas. Handball to Jason Johnson. Big buff Pike. Ball out of bounds on the full.
Good pressure from Brisbane.
Well, he did the half turn, Mark Johnson, but then it was the Pike that came and finished him off. And Keating's got it on the wing. Chip kick Keating. Almost.
We just need a salmon.
Almost too high for Chris Johnson, the last remaining Fitzroy boy. Has the ball at halfback. Takes some time. Sun's in his eyes. Spearing ball. Bradshaw back on. He takes the mark in front of Barnard at half forward. 25 minutes on the clock. 65 to 62. The Lions by 3 points.
They've kicked 4 goals to 1 in this quarter. A quarter which started promisingly for Essendon. Bradshaw chips inside, straight across ground. And the veteran Ashcroft has the footy tucked against his body with his right arm. What a day for him. All the years, the embarrassment, the hidings, the long journeys home. Today, possibly a flag. You can smell it at the moment. 25 and a half in. He kicks long to within 30 of goal. Lynch. Out strength Fletcher. Took the mark. 45 from goal. Being brought around to something like a 45-degree angle. And at the 26-minute mark of the third quarter, this is a very big kick. So big he's hooked it way out beyond the behind post. It lands in the pocket off the pack. Power. Ramanauskas overpowers him. Knocks the ball to Mark Johnson. Gives to Heffernan. Quick kick out of defence. Too quick. Too long. Hart marks it. Been a great goer for Brisbane. Between wing and half forward flank. They're peppering. He chips short. Notting's got it. He weaves inboard from just outside the 50. Doesn't know where to go. Goes away from goal with a hand pass to Hart. He's uncertain. He gives to Chris Scott further away from goal. Twisting, weaving. Goes out wide. Notting again. 65 out. Left half forward flank. Brisbane building. 26 and a half gone.
Clever play there. Didn't blaze away. They could have just bombed it. Now he probably will. Drop punt to the danger zone, top of the square. Fletcher rises off his hands, close to the forward pocket. Ball is either a behind or out of play. It's a behind.
Not really
Brisbane at the 27-minute mark. Third.
Play again. Will Alessio bring it down to a runner? No, he doesn't. He marks and he hands off to Hurd. It's a good move anyway. He goes towards Lloyd. Outmanoeuvred by Michael. Michael tackled by Lloyd. Didn't have the footy. Free kick to Brisbane. Half back. They're getting it right at the moment. Oh, he goes long across ground and he miscued the kick. It bounces awkwardly for White, but there aren't the Essendon players there. White feeds off a hand pass to Lappin, who kicks long to an unmanned Keating. Hand pass to Boss. 65 out. Goes wide to Lynch. On the boundary line. Right pocket. Almost an impossible shot. Fletcher, the man on the mark, 30 metres out, so to bend it back from that distance, high degree of difficulty. He's looking inboard. He can see a little daylight. The shot at goal, if he were to go for it, is probably the straight kick, the drop punt, and it looks as though, after some consideration, that might have to be his option. 28 and a half minutes gone in the third quarter. It's all Brisbane at the moment. Their lead on the board is 4 points. Now Lynch decides to pass away from goal, and he does so expertly to Chris Johnson, who's well outside the 50. He's 65 metres out. And the Bombers back in big numbers. Johnson goes to Lappin, who marks it inside the 50.
Good play.
And could do it from there. He kicked a goal a few minutes ago, and he has a chance to kick another, which would do much damage to the Essendon cause close to three-quarter time. Here he comes from on the 50. Got the distance. Got the lock. And the Lions are seeing a glimpse of the big prize. 10-12-72. Essendon 9-8-6.
Term up they fly. Again, Keating, who's been superb this quarter, knocks it down to Black. Kicks straight up in the air. Play on, not 10. Over at White, in and under. Gets the handball out. Pike on hands and knees. Slaps it to White. Slap wider to Chris Scott. Here go the Lions again. Long to the goal square. Under it, Lynch. Voss. Both collide. Lynch forward pocket. Takes it out of play. Then Voss says, Lynchy, what were you doing? And they're smiling at each other. Ruck kicks it outside, defensive 50. Chris Scott's got it. Great tackle, Rioli. Ball knocked clear. Voss steals the crumb, gives to Ashcroft. Rioli's down. Rioli's hurt. Ashcroft kicks to the top of the square. Up they fly. Keating! He wasn't paid it. Play on. Pike picks it up. He kicks the goal.
He's in midfield. Essendon invite him to play on. The Lions have produced a championship quarter that might be remembered as the one that won them the flag in 2001. They kicked 6 goals, 2 to Essendon's 1-2. And their supporters, the ones who have travelled from Brisbane, 8, Essendon 9-8-62. The Dons, who led...
We're 30 minutes or so away from knowing who's won the flag in 2001. The Lions lead. Bounce in the middle. Up they fly. Keating v Barnes. Ball knocked down immediately to Voss. Who's the Voss? He kicks it to half forward. Black's under it. Big hip and shoulder. He rode it well. Dives back in. Ashcroft with him. Handballs to Lappin. Lappin to Ackermanis. The Ackerman. One way, then the other. Kick around the body inside 50. Play on. Solomon marked it, but it was touched. Handball to Mercury. Handball to Fletcher. Dangerous from the back pocket. Kicks to the wing. Carosella. Chris Scott. Voss up. Made it 3-on-2. Voss dives in. Close to the boundary. Can he keep it in? He cannot. It'll be tossed in. And Michael Voss has that steel look in his captaincy eye. He might drag them home. 40 seconds. Final term. 78. Plays 62. Lions lead.
Keating front position on Barnes. Carosella at the back, though, is able to mop it up for Essendon and kick them forward to the middle. Can someone snare it? Hurd in front. Plenty of spoilers. Who's at the fall? All Brisbane. Chris Scott swings a long left footer. Inside the 50. Brown had the claws around it. Couldn't hang on. Mopped up by Heffernan for Essendon. Chips back to the middle. Awkward half volley for Blumfield. Gives to an uncertain Mercury. Chips well low and sets up Barnes in space, who places his kick atrociously. He had 2 targets. He put it right between them, and Justin Leppich took an uncontested mark.
It's been good, Leppich. Chip kick to Pike, a little dangerous.
Yeah, good point by Paul Carey down the boundary. The sun now for the Brisbane forwards is right in their eyes, and really you're going to need to kick the ball out sideways so they can run towards it to give them a chance.
Pike long from the back pocket. Keating front position, knocks it down. Hart's there. Caught as he gathered. Picked off by Barnes. Had his leg grabbed. Free kick Barnes on the wing. Don't expect the reigning champs to give up. They are the heavyweight champions, and they've got some punches left in them. They haven't covered up in the early stages of this final term. Barnes long. Lloyd rises. Alessio's there. Ball slapped down. Voss gathers. Handballs toward the boundary. Mercury gathers, though, just inside the line to Lucas. Caught. Gets a handball out just in time. Handballed it inside 50, but Pike's superb. The only premiership player in this Lions lineup. Kicks to the wing. He might be joined by 21 others soon. Handball comes out. Ackermanis! Big hip and shoulder. Might have been caught high. White's there. Dispossessed. Wellman's got it. Here go the Bombers.
Ever cool. Kicks into half forward. Not much there. Essendon player held. Mark Johnson was clearly held by the jumper, and Lappin was able to chip in and take a mark. Do they pay the holds or not? Lappin kicks to Boss, who marks clear of the defensive 50. Half-back flank. In some growing shade from the southern stand. He chips a little pass, and Chris Johnson has it. No one on the mark. He goes wide and manoeuvres it to Chris Scott, who sprawls and picks it up low down. Between half-back and wing, 3 minutes in, still no goal. First goal here, utterly critical. Short to Lappin now. He's told he's played on. Gives to Ackermanis. Fab 4 really starting to assert themselves. Long ball up towards half forward. Off a pack, Heffernan weaves. Hand passes to Moorcroft, who crosses the centre. Has a cheeky bounce. Might have an even cheekier one. No, he doesn't. He kicks in the Lloyd direction, but too long. And Michael judges it to a nicely. Did he play on? No, he didn't.
Whoa, I tell you what.
Lloyd wrapped him up. Wanted a free kick. Michael was allowed to go back and have another go. He gives to Pike, who gives to Brad Scott, who almost loses it as he has a fancy bounce down below the MCC members. Alessio holds him up. Scott takes his time. Little left footer. Too much finessing. Keating knocks the ball to Hart. He gives back to Brad Scott on his left. Little chip. Easy for Notting. Takes the mark on the wing.
Luck's on their side at the moment, the Lions.
Oh, yeah.
Notting is on the wing, and you need a little bit of that L word. Long kick. Notting to half forward. Fletcher caught behind. Up they fly. Fletcher gets the punch there in the end. Lays a hip and shoulder. Boss through traffic. Caught by Mercedes. Dispossessed. Picked off by Chris Johnson. Handball to White. Could be a free to Chris Johnson for too high against Barnes. He knocked Barnes down. Barnes played for the reversal. Won't get it. Barnes went a little recklessly at Chris Johnson there. And Chris Johnson will take the free just outside 50. And time is in Brisbane's favour.
They've got to be a little careful, though, that they don't try and slow the game down in the 5-minute mark. You want to, they've got to kick a couple of goals.
16 points the margin. Lions lead. 5 minutes. Final term. Here's Tim Lane.
Man on the mark. About 53 metres out. Johnson a long way from home on final quarter legs, and he knows it. He's looking for something short, and now he's got it. And he goes to Darryl White. Spring and grab. One grab, two. Couldn't quite hang on. Fletcher just slapped it away. Boss outside the 50. Falls over. Hand pass to Chris Johnson. Breaks away. Has a bounce. Weaves his way inside. Swings across the body. It doesn't curl back, and it's a behind. But that was a confident play. Brisbane 11-13-79. Essendon 9-8-62.
Can't bring the mark down. Bombers have numbers in defence. Boundary line might beat them here. Mercury just keeps it in. To Ramanaskas. To Mercedes. They're still fighting on the Bombers. Back to Ramanaskas. Wide. Halfback. Gathered by Moorcroft. Has some space. Shepherded by Solomon. Ball loops over the top to Solomon now. Moorcroft gets one high. Solomon kicks it long. Blumfield's got it. Half forward. This looks promising for Essendon. Handballs out immediately to Hurd. High bomb inside 50. They need a mark. They get a mark. It's Lloyd. Matthew Lloyd has taken the mark. He held Mal Michael off with that backside yet again. And he has an opportunity here from 45 metres out on an angle better than 45 degrees to kick the goal that will keep Essendon alive. Back to back. Still a possibility when Matthew Lloyd's up forward and kicking them straight. But now the ritual. Socks up. Jumper in. Grass in the air. Another piece of grass. It's that all-important second bit again.
Oh, this is an even more important kick than the one in the third quarter. I reckon this could do with 3 blades.
He has kicked 103 for the season. Every Essendon supporter, whether you're here or not, edge of the seat stuff. Drop punt is will wait behind. 7.5 minutes on the clock.
Back pocket, has a couple of bounces. and now winds up and kicks long in the Keating direction. Only Masidi to beat. Couldn't quite hang on to the mark. Jason Johnson had it, fumbled it as he rarely would. They're tired. Heffernan picks up. Hand pass to Ramanauskas. On his left foot, clever kick. Lloyd will mark this. Outside 50. Runs to 51. Loads up. Kicks long. Kicks a goal. And the Bombers have a gasp of oxygen. The margin back to 10 points.
Gets the takeaway for the Lions. Kicks it wide. Ashcroft, held by Mercury, gets a free on the wing. 10 points the margin. The Lions lead. The reigning premier on the ropes, but still with that glint in their eye. They are the champions. They have shown it. The Brisbane Lions, 15 wins in a row coming into this game. They lost the grand final of the night premiership this year, and they are looking solid, 10-point leaders.
Ashcroft goes long and wide, out near the boundary, and it's only just inside the 50. Power takes it over. There'll be a throw-in. Yes, Brisbane perhaps asking themselves, do we know how to put them away? And the Bombers might be asking themselves, do they know how to put us away? Throw-in coming up. Barnes front position, got two hands onto it. Notting's got it though for Brisbane. Hand pass out near the boundary. Black twists, turns, does the full 360, swings with the left foot, just misses. And the margin is 11 points. 11-14-80 to 10-9-69 at the 10-minute mark. It's a very low grand final crowd, 91,482. And the fans who missed out must ask why.
Fletcher to Masidi, wide to Wellman. They worked it outside defensive 50 well to Wellman. Wellman, chip kick, Carousella on the end of it. Hart cuts it off, gets one for too high. Hart by name, Hart by nature. Play on to advantage, wide inside 50, play on, Notting, goal! For the first time ever, or for the first time since 1944, depending on which way you look at it, the Brisbane Lions, or the Lions, are looking at a flag. 11 minutes in, final two.
Brisbane into attack again. Ashcroft leads Mercury. Out on the half-forward flank, Fletcher arrives, meets Ashcroft fiercely, and the ball deflects out to the boundary for a throw-in on Brisbane's right half-forward flank, just outside the 50. Aided, I'd have thought, that last goal by a much delayed call of advantage by Scott McLaren. Everyone had stopped, and the Bombers, I'd have thought, could feel hard done by. From the throw-in, Masidi over the ball for Essendon. Now Wellman receives his little flick out, can't break, and Brisbane close in hungry, positive, aggressive numbers, and there'll be a bounce inside their 50, about 47 metres from goal. 12 minutes in, and Brisbane lead Essendon by 17 points. It is hard to see where the 3 goals could come from the Bombers.
Write them off at your peril, though. Bounce inside the lines, attacking 50. Solomon gathered, kick smothered, wide on hands and knees, can't get it out, and a free to the Lions. Brown's getting it for too high. Jonathan Brown. He has not shown even one iota of inexperience this afternoon. Young centre-half forward, and he has been as solid as anybody. And he has a massive opportunity here to drive his team closer to the Holy Grail. 69-86. It's a 17-point margin. 3 goals unanswered, and the Bombers are in front. But if Brown can kick this, it would take 4 unanswered. 13 minutes on the clock. Final term. He's kicking to the sunshine end, and the sun is shining on the Lions right now. In he runs from 50. It'll take a good kick from the paint. Drop punt. Not bad. Hit the post. And we have a ball game still, because the margin is 3 goals. 10-9-69 to 12-15-87.
Oh, and you can just imagine John Elliott leading that Brisbane cheer squad, driving them onto greater things. Ashcroft fists it back inside the 50. First man there, Moorcroft. Can't break the tackle. Ball loose. Ackermanis, the Brownlow medalist, runs back outside 50. Loads up with the left. It mightn't have the carry. Fletcher just touched it. Just touched it on the line. Behind, but the dam wall, that's dam without an N on the end of it, incidentally, is ready to burst, surely. Brisbane 12-16-88. Essendon 10-9-69. They're 4 kicks in front.
Yes, that behind as good as a goal. That's the biggest of behind we've seen here. Well, since Ricky May was here about, well, how many years ago?
Oh, Big Nick.
Last year.
Long kick. Solomon after he got it from Fletcher to the wing. Lepich up. Takes the mark. Brisbane Lions looking solid. Lepich wide with a well-directed kick to Jonathan Brown. He drops the mark, gathers his own crumb, mops it up, chips it, and Ackermanis has got it. 50 from goal. The Ackerman. The unpredictable, the unorthodox, the beautiful, the inspiring, the Brownlow medalist. And he lines up at goal, 45-degree angle. You've got to love this game. It takes all types. Tall, small, big, solid, thin, reckless, smart, and those that just play on instinct. Ackermanis, one of those, runs in, drop punts, kicks, a poster. He has hit the post.
Is that 3 for the day?
At that end, Chris Johnson in the first half, and in the space of about 3 minutes, with Brisbane. Lepich levers it out of the clutches of one of his teammates, I fancy, or is his teammate the man in front? Jonathan Brown been paid the mark? He has. It's his ball. Forward of the centre. Almost 16 minutes gone. Brisbane by 20 points. Essendon led them by that margin. But there's been a big swing since then, late in the second quarter. A lead from Lynch. Ball doesn't have the carry to reach him. Picked up by Black, whose hand pass is smothered and the ball's out to the boundary for a throw-in. Inside Brisbane's 50. And the thrilling grand final, the one that hung in the balance in time on, looks as though it yet might elude us. Brisbane too strong. At the throw-in, McDonald takes it out of the air. Bow is beautiful. Gives to Voss. Snap from the pocket. He's kicked it. Hark, I hear the lion roar. And it is roaring like the king of the jungle. Brisbane 13-17-95. Have the grand final won. Essendon 10-9-69.
Brisbane on fire. Ball knocked down to Hart. High kick to half forward. Ackermanis. They are full of running. Ackermanis from half forward. Loads up. Long launch to the goal square. Fletcher there. Flies with a spoil. Lynch claims the mark. Lynch has been paid. No. Play on. Hamilton to Pike. Shouldn't have been paid. Spoiled by Fletcher. And it's out of play. The ball was punched by Fletcher. Lynch tried to fool everyone. But he couldn't fool umpire Martin Ellis. 95-69. The Lions, they're about 10 minutes away from that highest of emotional highs.
And they might be 10 seconds away from another goal the way they're going. McDonald and Alessio, neither got a hand onto it. Now McDonald does. Hurd's got it. Turns straight back into trouble. And really all he can do is play for a ball up, which will occur 20 metres out from Brisbane's goal. All the Lions really since about 5 minutes into the third quarter. Since half-time they've kicked 8-7 to 2-3. Umpire Ellis bounces the footy. Alessio pushes Darryl White out of the contest. Ball bounces Essendon's way to Masiti, who scrambles a kick out of the pack, just out towards the boundary in hope, and over for a throw-in. Clear of the 50 now, and at least clear of immediate danger, but you wonder for how long, because the Bombers seem to have nowhere to go. No will left, no legs left, no hope left.
All three definitely right, Tim. Ball back into play. Can someone get some spring in their step? Ackermanis can. Handball to Power. Nail in Coffin. That was no fluke from Luke.
the footy, and just by force and fitness and youth, Brisbane look as though they'll win it out again, but no, Alessio gets it to Caracella, who kicks forward high, not very long. Masiti runs onto it and takes the mark for the Bombers. He has a man running down the corridor. Caracella gives to him. Kick deflected. Heffernan's got it though. 40 out on the left side. Tired kick. Touched off the boot. Chris Scott has it covered. Hand passes. Close to the boundary line. Still playing the percentage. Michael twists back into play, but he'd already taken it over, and there'll be a throw in. His instincts told him to try and take on a tired Essendon bunch, but his head told him no. Lee Matthews mightn't like that even now. Throw in. Alessio takes it out of the air. McDonald wraps him up. The ball falls limp at their feet, and there'll be a bounce. 25 out from Essendon's goal. 20 and a half gone. The Lions 14-17, 101. Lead the Dons 10-9, 69.
And as tight as they are, I don't think any of these Lions will sleep tonight. Bounce. Essendon attacking 50. Ball knocked down by Alessio. Forward pocket for the Bombers. No one can quite get a clean possession. Blumfield slaps it out. Hurd is there, close to the boundary line. He's been seen today, but he just hasn't been heard. James can't pick it up this time either. Ackermanis can. One Brownlow medalist couldn't get there. The other can. Handballed it out. Cut off by Caracella, though, for the Bombers. Kick around the body. Rioli up. White up two. One Aboriginal beats the other. Knocks it down towards Jason Johnson. Can't grab it. Rioli steals it back. Mercury a fumble. Michael Voss a no fumble. Gives it out. And here they go. Again, the Lions. Black, wide, long to Brown. They've got the numbers. Brown has Ackermanis. Pops it over the top. And the Ackerman has it. 40 metres from goal.
Interesting, Lucas has now gone back to centre-half back on Brown. Wellman's back at full-back on Lynch.
Ackermanis lines up at goal. He puts the ball on turf. He can eat up some seconds as much as he likes. They know they have the cup in their grasp, Brisbane. 8 possessions this quarter, Ackermanis. And if he drives this home, we might see an early handstand. Drop punt is a goal! I'm not sure if Jason Ackermanis has ever kissed the hello turf of the MCG. We're about 8 minutes away from seeing him do so. And doesn't he deserve it? 15-17, 107. Brisbane. Essendon 10.
Struggle in the game for 3.
Sockers it into an Essendon body. It deflects to Masiti. A hand pass to the running Barnard. Can't accept it cleanly. Gives to Jason Johnson. Courageously gives it back to Barnard, whose kick is poor and falls straight into the lap of Chris Johnson at the defensive 50. Fletcher, who's up in the attacking half, wraps him up. And for the second week in a row, the Bombers have hit the wall after half-time. Johnson kicks back to the goal square to Chris Scott, who goes out to the other pocket now, and Lappin, who kicks around the flank, and Mal Michael. The Papua New Guinean takes the mark. Half-back for Essendon. In the middle, in a hectare of space is Black. He can run on. Sean Hart will lay the shepherd. 2 bounces, 3 bounces, inside 50, load up, kick long, kick a little wide. Kicker behind, but the lead just keeps stretching. 15-18, 108 to 10-9, 69. And you say the Lion won't sleep tonight, Dwayne Russell, after they win their way to their first premiership.
Love it, Tim. That's the best one of the year. Wellman towards Mark Johnson. Handball to Lucas. Long kick by Lucas to Jacobs, who started well. Marks it at half forward. Plays on, and he slips. Rioli comes hard, and the pass hits him on the chest. Rioli's too far out to score. Lloyd leads, ball in his direction, hits him. And Matthew Lloyd, can he make it 105 for the season? He has 104. He has kicked 1 in every quarter today. And he lines up from outside 50. And even though there is little time left, Matthew Lloyd uses up as much as he requires to kick the goal. Ball on the turf, socks pulled up, jumper in, grass in the air, in he runs from 51. Drop, punt is long and straight. A good way to finish the season for the Coleman medalists. Goal number 105 at the 25-minute mark of the final term. But the Lions will win the flag, 15-18. One
again. No immediate possession. Carousella, now Lucas for Essendon. Quick kick, sideways, out towards the members' wing. First man there is Masiti. Barnard arrives with a fearsome shepherd on Sean Hart. Kick is up towards Ramanauskas, who took the mark, I thought, and he has been paid it. He was tackled as though he'd played on, but the umpire having none of it. And on second thoughts, neither was Ramanauskas, who runs onto that left side, kicks high in the Alessio direction, doesn't mark many of those, doesn't mark this. Ball taken away from goal by McVeigh. To Moorcroft now, to Hurd. They're being forced the wrong way. Hurd gives to Wellman running out of defence, and he kicks towards Lloyd. Too far for him. Finds Lucas, though. He can run in and kick an easy goal. The Bombers get another, but they are of little account, because Brisbane's lead is still a comfortable 27 points. And we've played that many minutes in the last quarter. Brisbane 15-18, 108. Essendon 12-9, 81.
Up flies Alessio. Free kick in the middle, and it's against the Lions. Alessio to Blumfield. Is there another twist yet? Blumfield to Lloyd, and he takes the mark. Now, Lloyd can kick it from here. He loads up from 55. Long drop, punt to the goal square. Fletcher bumped out of the contest, and it's through for a behind. 28 minutes on the clock, final term. 108-82, and we've got 3 minutes left. I don't think they'll do it, though, Tim.
You've got a bit of Barnum and Bailey in you, Dwayne. Towards the wing, where in front position is young Brown. He was holding someone by the arm, and he's given away a free kick. He looks unhappy with it. Lucas will take it and kick back whence it came, in the Fletcher direction. Too long for him. Michael kept him under the ball. Michael pushed in the back by a tired, dispirited Rioli, and will come out of it with a needless free kick in the back pocket style. Ball kick with about a minute left on the clock towards half-back. Lapham there, can't take possession. Big tackle laid by Solomon on Black, and there'll be a ball up. 108. Bomber fans are hanging on too. From the ball up, a free kick goes Brisbane's way, and Brad Scott is the recipient as he was held by the back of his jumper. Didn't have the footy. It's his ball, clear of the defence of 50, and again he happily whiles away the time of day, of late afternoon, a glorious afternoon, one Brisbane will never forget. He kicks around the southern wing. Wellman front position outmarked comprehensively by Alistair Lynch, who in the heat and the enervating northerly wind is still playing well in the last quarter. And the Bombers have surrendered their crown to Brisbane. Brisbane win their first AFL title. Their supporters, the old Fitzroy supporters, and perhaps most of the unconverted celebrate, but most of all, it's the players who run to each other. They'll be joined shortly by their coach, Lee Matthews, not as quick as he used to be in his heyday, but jogging out towards the southern side of the MCG. His second grand final as a coach produces his second flag, and this one perhaps even more historic than when Collingwood did it 11 years ago, because Brisbane are on the map with an AFL flag. 15-18, 108 to Essendon 12-10, 82.
Matthews out there embracing Black. Simon Black embracing him back. Voss there. What a captaincy's performance from him. And look at Essendon at the moment. They are a very disappointed bunch, and Sheedy in the middle of them, Tim.
Yes, he's experienced it before, but no amount of experience when it's this bitter counts for much. Here's Michael Voss, the captain of Brisbane, giving a tearful interview on Channel 7.
At half time, down by 16 points. Third corner was the premiership corner. Well, mate, we were doing the hard work, you know, we knew it. We just knew that if we kept pushing it, we kept tackling it really hard, that eventually would overrun them, and it's the best feeling ever. Mate, jump over the top.
Michael Voss with one-time Brisbane player Matthew Campbell on the host broadcaster. The Lions have won the flag. We never thought we'd hear ourselves say it. We never thought we'd hear ourselves say it about Brisbane as they entered the competition in 1987, a limp, ragged, directionless lot, playing at Carrara, which looked more like a country oval than an elite level football ground. But 14 years on, they've come to the greatest stage in the game, the greatest stage in Australian sport, and they have won their first flag. And the ecstasy is as palpable as is the agony 60 metres down the ground, where the red and black huddle is a disconsolate, dispirited one. The Bombers, who have looked a team of such awesome power that they could string 3 premierships together, have won only 1 in 3 opportunities. Alistair Lynch now, courtesy of the host broadcaster.
Still can't believe it, Bruce. As you said, a journeyman.
What a story, Alistair Lynch. Well, we've lost him, unfortunately. They're very brief interviews because all of the players want to be together. We'll hear from them a little later on. We'll be down in their rooms. We'll hear from players, administrators, hopefully coaches, about Brisbane's triumph in 2001. Here's Jason Ackermanis, the Brownlow medalist.
I reckon.
How did you cope with all the pressure?
Oh, no, it's a bit of fun. That was out of my control, but this is what it's all about, I reckon. This is a group thing. That's why I play footy. And these blokes, I tell you,
Things didn't go well for you in the first half. Great turnaround.
yeah, it's one of those things, you know. If I'm getting tagged, someone else is getting loose. So that's the team game, you know. There's nothing, I'm not too worried, you know. Hey, we win as a group, we lose as a group. We take it, mate.
Well done. You're a Brownlow medalist and a premiership player.
Oh, yeah, well, you take it when they come your way, mate. Go out.
And he's a very, very impressive. Not a bad week he's had.
And what a refreshing character he is. You're going to love him, don't you? You're going to love him.
The Irish don't. When he was over there last year, gee, they got into him.
Brisbane by 26
I mean, whenever you
points.
enter
Here's
the
Lee
year as a
Matthews.
winner, it's just fantastic. You don't have to worry about playing for 3 or 4 months. And, I mean, these guys have just done a magnificent job over the last 4 months. Had to pick up from behind. But their ability, just the courage to run. They got that. You picked up Martin Pike at the start of the season, the original Fitzroy player.
Yeah.
Here he is kicking a superb goal for you. Well, he's a common denominator, premiership player to become a years ago. Yeah, fantastic. Just tell us about Jonathan Brown and Ackermanis and the Fat Four, they call it. Terrific boys on the
Oh, well, that's the point. I mean, that was a great game, I reckon. I mean, I was coaching it, but geez, the pressure on the ball carrier, we just had to stand up with it, and then eventually our blokes are the ones running into space because geez, they run the game out strong, these blokes.
We got the message at half-time.
Oh, message all day. You got to work it, but it's no use thinking you're fitter and stronger unless you make the opposition tire.
I love seeing you happy, Lee. I love you, mate. You know that. Smile, but I'll smile tonight. Good on you, mate.
Terrific. Lee Matthews with former premiership teammate Robert Tipienamenico on Channel 7. And still the huddling and the cuddling and the celebrating and the jubilating goes on. Television shot shows Kevin Murray, the Lions' greatest, well, maybe their second greatest, after Hayden Bunt, with the scarf around his neck and enjoying a day that he never thought he would witness as the maroon and blue comes home at last.
And will you watch their third greatest lift the cup shortly? Michael Voss. He's got to be up there now, surely. As a leader of men, as a Brownlow medalist.
He's in the grand final. He's won the grand final. Brisbane have won it. That final score again, 15-18-108 to 12-10-82. And still their song echoes around the MCG, and it probably has the French of Melbourne, of Victoria, of Australia singing along and celebrating with the Lions. One of the greatest anthems of all. The goal kickers for the winners, the Lions. 3 to Luke Power. 2 each to Lynch, Ackermanis, Brown and Lappin. 1 each to Voss, Notting, Ashcroft and Pike. For Essendon, 5 to Lloyd, 4 to Lucas and just 3 other goal kickers. Jason Johnson, Moorcroft and Caracella. Essendon led by 14 points. at half-time. But in the second half, Brisbane kicked 10-8 to 4-4, and a couple of those late token goals from the beaten Bombers as Brisbane won by the comfortable margin of 26 points in front of a crowd of 91,482.